Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Happy Halloween, everyone. Welcome to the final reaction of the 2022 Halloween special. I'm Connie, and today we are reacting to Halloween, specifically Halloween Kills, the second movie in the new trilogy, I guess you could call it, of the Halloween franchise. There's also Halloween Ends, which is out, apparently, for streaming and everything, I guess. But I'm not going to be able to get to both of them today because due to a lot of procrastination and shit last week, I'm actually recording this on the day of, which is my fault entirely. I completely take ownership of that. There was a lot of procrastination last week, and I wouldn't be surprised if there could be this week with recording other stuff, because this weekend is Youmacon, so I'm doing a lot to get ready for that as well. But yeah, so yeah, this is our final part of the 2022 Halloween special, and once again, we're getting to Halloween Kills. So, in the first of these movies, which was a sequel to the original Halloween, because the first of this trilogy kind of erases and retcons all of the previous movies except the very first Halloween. So it centers on decades later. Laurie Strode, is it Strode or Stroud? Might be Stroud. Laurie is now much older and basically suffering from all the PTSD and trauma she faced due to the events of the first film, the original film. Her daughter and granddaughter are, well, I think her daughter kind of sees her as having issues, while her daughter kind of wants to, be there for her and shit. But eventually Michael comes back and all hell breaks loose. But in the end, the girls work together and manage to seemingly take him down. So, surprisingly, I have not really been spoiled on this film. Despite it being out for like a year now, I have not really been spoiled on this. I don't really know much of anything about this, except I think that like the entire town comes together to fight Michael at some point. I think I remember that from a trailer. I don't think that was for Halloween Ends, but I do think that was for Halloween Kills. I hope. I'm not thinking of a Halloween Ends trailer. But, so I don't really know much about this film at all. About exactly what's going to happen, exactly how it's going to all start up again, exactly what kills are going to be in it. I don't know any of that stuff. So I'm pretty excited to see it. The Halloween films, like compared to other classic horror movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Halloween movies have always been my kind of jam. Compared to those others, the intimidation and frighteningness of Michael Myers, he just stands above the others. Jason's pretty good. I was never a big Freddy fan. And Leatherface, he was scary, but I never really got into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. I didn't even see, like, all of them. It's like I saw, like, one or two of them, and I don't even remember which ones. But it's like, for me, this was one of those horror movie franchises that I was into, that I really did get into. This, the likes of, like, the Alien franchise and all. Those are the ones I got into. And so, seeing all of this again and getting to, like, experience, like, a new series, a new trilogy of these films is really cool. And just even outside of this, I've always been a huge fan of Jamie Lee Curtis. Not only because she's a great actress in plenty of things she's been in, but also she's just an amazing person. She has a trans child and is very supportive of the trans and general queer communities. She's just really, really caring for people and progressive. And also, she's a massive One Piece fan, which is really fucking great to me. You know, when film Red comes to America this fall, I think this next month in November, you know she's going to be going to that premiere. I know she really likes Chopper. She's actually said she would be willing to play Kureha, which would be amazing. Tell that to the Netflix team making the live action series. But in all seriousness, I've always really liked Jamie Lee Curtis, so I love supporting her by seeing the movies she's in. And just giving her all the credit and love and everything she deserves. And obviously Halloween is like kind of her big thing. I saw like a behind the scenes kind of video where it was like the crew and everyone was wrapping up after like the final day of shooting and everything, and Jamie Lee was in tears. And everyone was just showering her with love and just praise and applause and everything. And she was crying, and it got me cried, and it's getting me emotional thinking about it right now. Because it's like, she is one of the most legendary scream queens in all of horror, without question, if not the most legendary. She is an icon just as much as any of the villains in these movies. And whether or not you liked her in all of the Halloween movies that she was in and everything, whether you liked all the Halloween movies at all, she has made a huge name for herself. And that will never be forgotten. And, like, on top of it, she's part of a dynasty as it is. Her mother was from Psycho. Like, that's insane. One of the greatest horror movies ever made. One of the most legendary horror movies ever made. Everybody loves Psycho. And it's like, she even dressed at one point as her mother's character, I believe. Which is amazing. Like, for Halloween, I think. But it's like, she will always have this legacy, no matter what. And she deserves it. She's a phenomenal actress. She's really funny. She's really nice. She's wonderful. And believe me, like, out of, like, all these celebrities in the world and all, she would definitely be near the top of, like, a bucket list of celebrities I would absolutely adore meeting. She would definitely be up there for me. That would be a dream come true. I would cry very much. I've only cried meeting one celebrity in my life. That was Tara Strong. Oh wait, no, two, because Andrea Libman as well. Yeah, I've only cried meeting two celebrities in my life: Tara Strong and Andrea Libman. She would definitely be the third, though. I would cry hard. Probably not right in front of her, but at least after the fact, I would go into the bathroom and probably sob into my hands. Just from the experience. But yeah, that would be pretty fucking amazing. But yeah, like I said, I don't really know much about, like, the specifics of the story in this one. I obviously get that the main gist is Michael comes back again, and Laurie and her family have to stop him again. But I don't know anything deeper than that. But I'm very interested to see. I wonder if there's going to be any creative kills in here. I believe I talked about that in the Scream 5 reaction as well. I actually really like creative kills, like when they get really unique with them. and so I kind of always want to see that. I kind of always want to see some of these horror movies get really creative with them. And obviously, you're never going to top Final Destination when it comes to creativity with its kills. Those movies are just next level with that. But, I mean, nonetheless, you could still do some pretty interesting stuff here, even for someone as stoic and whatnot as Michael Myers. So I'm hoping for some creative kills. And otherwise, I'm just hoping for some more badass Laurie like we saw in the last one. And just some really cool moments with her daughter, and her granddaughter. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see this. Very excited to end off our Halloween special for the year. And I'm just going to say right now, though I'll talk maybe about it again in the afterthoughts. Since tomorrow is November 1st, you will also be getting a announcement for the holiday special for December, because I usually announce those a month in advance. So you'll be getting that soon too. So be prepared for that when that comes in December, or when the announcement video comes tomorrow. So either way, we're just going to get this going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so that was Halloween Kills. And I'm going to say, like, right off the bat, before anything, yeah, I liked it. Very much so, even. I liked the themes that were going on in it, with the idea of, like, mob mentality and how it can be good or bad depending on how it's handled and everything. And I like how it was not just a sequel to Halloween, to the previous movie, but a direct continuation in every sense of the term. It was directly continuing in almost a way that you could, like, watch the last movie and then watch this movie back to back and take out the credits of this movie, and it would feel like the exact same movie. Like, there's no real separation. It feels that directly continued from the first. And I kind of like that. I like that idea. So I wanted to look up some things here. Let me see if I can find it. So this one apparently didn't do too much, or too well. At least not on Rotten Tomatoes, which, as I always state, take with a grain of salt because it's fucking Rotten Tomatoes. 38% of 268 critical reviews are positive, with an average rating of 5 out of 10. The site's consensus reads, Halloween Kills should satisfy fans in search of brute slasher thrills, but in terms of advancing the franchise, it's a bit less than the sum of its bloody parts. On Metacritic, it has an average score of 42 out of 100 based on 45 critics, with mixed or average reviews. Audience on CinemaScore gave an average grade of B- on an A+ to F scale, lower than the B+ earned by the 2018 Halloween. And on PostTrack, it was given a 69% positive score, with 52% saying they would definitely recommend it. Barry Hertz of the Globe and Mail was positive, saying the film was brimming with odd decisions, but added, there is something entertaining or maybe just enjoyably puzzling about what Gordon Green and McBride think a Michael Myers movie could or ought to be. Reviewing the film for The Wrap, Asher Luberto praised the return of cast members from the 1978 film and wrote, "Green seems less interested in rewriting the Halloween playbook than in giving audiences what they came for. From ghastly scares to a ghoulish score, it's a strategy that promises to make the series as immortal as Michael Myers himself." Film's Marshall Schaefer gave the film 7.5 and said there's good reason to be excited for how Green will bring this all to a head in his grand finale. Halloween Kills manages to put a playful but petrifying spin on mythology without resorting to cheap self-referentiality. Brian Truitt of USA Today gave it 2.5 out of 4 stars, saying it was gruesomely brutal as a night spent with Michael Myers should be, but added that it loses some of its skull-crushing effectiveness, juggling rampant carnage and social commentary. Owen Gleiberman, however, of Variety wrote, "Halloween Night may be Michael Myers' masterpiece, but Halloween Kills is no masterpiece. It's a mess, a slasher movie that's almost never scary, slathered with topical pablum, and with too many parallel plot strands that don't go anywhere." Kyle Smith of National Review criticized the violence, saying the only element that excites more than it nauseates is the terrific score, and called the film grueling, enervating, and dispiriting. David Fear of Rolling Stone said Kills comes incredibly close to erasing every ounce of goodwill that Green's revolutionary redo built up. It murders the desire to ever watch another Halloween movie again. So it seems like it's got actually pretty mixed reviews. It seems like there's plenty of people who liked it, but also plenty of people who didn't. And so it seems pretty mixed in terms of its critical response. And I want to check up something else here. Because this is a story that I think I heard about and just kind of forgot. It was kind of like, as I had watched the film and everything, I started to like kind of remember it in my head. It's like, oh yeah, I think I actually did hear about this last year. I just forgot about it initially. Especially once I mentioned it in the movie. So in the reaction, I mentioned that killing the gay couple, the Johns, probably would not be taken well by some fans and be seen as the entire burying your gays trope. And as I continued watching, and especially when their deaths actually happened, it started like kind of rolling in my head. It's like, wait, did that actually happen? I think that might have actually happened. And so I was going to wait till after the movie to check it out, and so I looked at it. Apparently, yeah, people were saying stuff like this. There were some people who were obviously saying things in jests, like saying Michael Myers is homophobic in tweets and all. But there were definitely some people who were looking at it as real and thinking that that the movie, was using that trope and everything. My view on it is kind of like I said in the movie. This was not just some random gay couple thrown in just for clout. I mean, they weren't like hugely important to the film or anything. Also, clout is probably the wrong word, but they had character. Like the movie, the directors, the writers, they made sure that this couple, that the Johns, were characterized, were sympathetic, that they weren't just, let's throw in a random gay couple and kill them like in 2 minutes after their introduction. They had a few different scenes. They were there for a good amount of time, and you got to know them. You got to see them as more than just the token gay couple. They actually had character to them. And it was good character. And as is said in this article on TMZ here, um, okay, dude literally kills everyone in his path. Um, he even executes first responders, and the only group he seems to spare no matter what are young children and babies. But everyone else is fair game. And that's kind of how I view a lot of these like horror movies and stuff. It's like if you're going to have gay characters in it, they can't just be like given plot immunity just because they're gay. I think one that's also kind of messed up. It's kind of messed up to just make them like basically unkillable just because they're queer. I think that characters' deaths should mean something. And as long as the character is portrayed well and given enough time to make the viewers, understand them and care about them, even if their characters are like characters who are just thrown into the movie and otherwise don't like have much to do with the plot, as long as they're still well written and well, worked out throughout the film, then it's okay. I'm not bothered by it as long as if it's very clear they're in there to be token gay characters, that's a completely different story. But that's not how these two felt. The Johns, like, they had personality, they had character, they had depth to them. We got to see their relationship. We got to see how they acted and how they thought and the kinds of things they were into. It's like we got to know the characters. Honestly, there's more you could say about that one couple early on who were flying the drone and everything. Like, they got a lot less screen time and died a lot more unceremoniously. Like, their death was a lot more sudden and random. They felt much more like a random couple thrown in than the gay couple did, than the Johns. The Johns felt like they actually, even if they weren't like interacting with the rest of the plot and the rest of the major characters, they still felt like they had relevance to this movie. Also, I don't know what's with all the emergency vehicles passing by. I'm gonna check out there, see if something's happening down the street after I finish this. But yeah, so I didn't mind it at all. I think it was handled fine. As for the rest of this movie, I thought it was fine. There were a couple weird things, and it was mostly down to just like nitpicks. Let's be honest. Like the way the one woman was killed, the doctor, was weird because it's like he kicked the door. It knocked the gun around in her hand. But again, she would have still had to pull the trigger to shoot, to fire. The trigger wouldn't have just pulled with the gun being knocked around to face her. That's not how that would work. So that's a nitpick. It's a dumb little thing. It's not a big deal. It doesn't ruin the movie or anything. But it's like, that's a weird thing. That's something, sure, I could complain about a little bit. But all in all, it's like, I thought it was fine. It felt like a Halloween movie. The music was fantastic. The kills were really creative and interesting. I actually really like the creative ways they went about that. Michael was very intimidating. The main characters were great. I liked the commentary on mob mentalities and showing how they can be both good and bad, depending on how they're handled and how the people within them, act. I just think it was good. And again, I love the fact that it feels like it just directly continues right after the previous movie. Like, again, you could take out the credits from this film, paste it right to the end of the last movie, and it would feel like you're just continuing to watch. It wouldn't feel like a different film had started. And you almost never see that. Like, even with other movies and stuff that are supposed to be, like, directly connected like that, like, I don't know, let's say The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings. Those are good examples of that. Even those, like, each movie feels like its own thing still. It feels like it's not, like, that direct of a continuation. So this is, in a way, really unique in that manner. I could also see some people maybe complaining that Laurie didn't really do much during this film, but honestly, because they wrote it as a direct follow up, she wouldn't be able to. It just makes sense with what happened in the last film. Like, she would not be able to legitimately do much in this. And we know she's going to have more to do in the next movie. We know that she's with the next movie being the last and the big conclusion of this Michael Myers Laurie Strode saga. We know that she's going to have plenty to do in there. This one centered around a lot of other characters. There were some legacy characters in there. There were the newer generation, and I think everyone really shined. All the ones that it did show, and for what was shown of Laurie, for her role that she did have in this, like, she ate up every scene she was a part of, because she's an amazing actress. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, owned every scene she was in. But that's not to take away from anyone else. And just because Laurie doesn't have as huge of a role in this film doesn't mean that it's automatically bad. I liked it. I would put it pretty much on the same level as the first one, or, the last one, whatever you want to call it, the 2018 Halloween. I would put it pretty much on the same level as that. And again, part of that is due to the direct continuation that it acts as. And so, yeah, I mentioned before that I might be thinking about doing Halloween Ends next month. Obviously, I just can't get to it today for Halloween as well. I don't have the time to get to it as well. But I might get to it next month. It's possible. We'll see. Because I might just not want to wait too long, Might just not want to wait an entire year to see the final one of these. But all of that being said, like I mentioned, this is the final of the Halloween special, obviously, because it's Halloween Day. But that means that tomorrow, November 1st, we will be starting the channel rebrand. So everyone be prepared for that. That will be coming in right away tomorrow. And on top of that, I will also be announcing what will be December's holiday special. Just like with the Halloween special, I announced it a month ahead of time, so I'll be announcing that tomorrow as well. And I'm very excited to share that with you guys. So, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I would love to hear your thoughts. So tell me down in the comments below, what did you think of Halloween Kills? For now, though, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.